See how this is working. Hey, everybody. It's me. We're in the advanced admin. So I happen to be doing some other stuff I shouldn't be doing. We're about to jump into Trail. Let's see. Have any? All right. All right. Look at that. I can add an account. Let's add Twitter, Facebook. Oh, that's all I can add. All right. Okay. No more of my personal work. This is working. Hey, everybody. It's me. There we go. It was me being quiet. All right, we're going to do, Salesforce Certified User Experience later. And there we go. And there's that. All right, so where do we leave off? So in August or July of last year, July of last month, we went through cloud applications on the 27th and 28th. And we talked about price books and quotes. And then I went into the territory management basics. So what I discovered about territory management is it's tough. So that particular trail, taking that out, and I'm taking that out. Sorry. Okay. So that particular trail, boy, oh boy, the territory management basics. I had already completed it, but I went through just to kind of give you a heads up, right? We are. Let me get this redirect done first. I'll put it in the chat. So I'm already completed with this one. Did it a long time ago, but territory management. What I did was, and I started to do beforehand, is under territory management basics. Let me grab this. These are my learning objectives. What I do is, this is the getting started. So what I started to do was copy these links and put them in right. See if that's going to do it. Put them in my document study, right? So get the other one.
And I don't know if these are on the recording or not. I got to go back and check the recording. Yeah, I started going through this model. I'll just go through it again. So listen, I've got that one. Let me just plug that away. I don't remember if I did this or not. Okay. So in my Get Started with Territory Manager, let's see if I've already captured this. Define terms, turn on enterprise territory manager, create territory types, territory models, territories. Okay. So I was, so these are the types. I put this in the document, right? That was the learning objectives. Define essential enterprise terms. Turn on the enterprise territory manager feature. Let's see. All right, so those are other learning objectives as we go through this. So that's where we left off. So that's where we're at today. Should have just trusted my notes. What happened with me was I started going through these exercises in the challenge, and I got all kind of lost. I got all kind of bad. I don't know if I even recorded this to YouTube, but let's see. I don't even know if my challenge is definitely not Curious Impala. It's going to be in Brave Moose. I haven't been able to rename yet. I don't think I'm completed with this challenge in this org. I don't have an org now that has it. But that's what we're doing. I was working through the learning objectives, and I got lost in I got lost. I was doing it alone, and I got lost. That's why we're doing this together. And nobody's here with me right now to get it done. So
I'm here with you.
Who's there? Jenny B?
It is Jenny B.
I did not hear you come in.
I snuck in the back door.
Nice.
I'm here. And this one was a hard one for me too.
Yeah, it was incredibly, because I was redoing it, and I didn't, yeah. So I was working through the exercise, and I think I got lost in the exercise. And because I was doing it alone, and it is suffice to say, this is more than a bear, but I want to spend some time on it, right? So
yeah, I think we have to. I think there's going to be questions.
That's as far as I got on my notes yesterday. Like I copied that's, what it is, what it's called, and what it does. Mm-hmm. But then what I found is that when you start to do okay, so let's go through the exercise piece of it, right? So I'm going to go and I'm going to start territory settings. Chen and Patrick won't be here today, Jenny, because Chen's not feeling good and tomorrow's her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Chen.
They'll be able to watch the recordings.
Right.
So for territories, we'll go to territory settings. I turned on territory settings, like the instruction enabled enterprise territory management. I did not see the lead access in mine. So that threw me off. It was account, contact, opportunity, case. But in the exercise, it says account, opportunity, case, and not leads. So whatever, I let it go at that. I set the access levels the way it said. And it said the most restrictive access levels. So truly the most restrictive access levels is no access, right? And so
right.
I'm gonna make it what it said. Although I don't agree with that screenshot, I gotta go with it. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, because these screenshots are what I would say wrong. And if you do that, you might run into trouble. Now, creating a territory type, here's, I think, where I got into trouble. We're gonna change the label to named accounts. Notice they didn't put it in red for us. So my territory settings. I'm creating a new territory type. And I'm going to call it named accounts. And
Priority 100.
hang on a second. And I'm going to put that in there. Thanks for that, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I created a type. Now repeat these steps, and for the other territory types, Lance wants to add, but for now, we'll skip ahead and talk about creating territory models. I don't know what one Lance wants to add. Let's see if there was something in there that said that.
I don't think it's important.
I know, but let's just.
It might be part of the bottom. I think what happens is you create one and then you have challenges on the other one.
Yeah, I got it. I'm just looking to see where Lance shows up. So he wants to give reps access to accounts based on criteria such as postal code, industry, revenue, or custom field. So that may be the types that we have to create. Maria's.
I think that's the, what do you call it? The logic behind the assignment. I don't think it's the actual type. I think it's just one type, but there's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't know what it's going to be yet. We'll just follow. We're going to create a territory model record. So it connects your territories, your assignments, and your account assignments. And after you create the record, Salesforce creates a territory hierarchy based on it. Then you access the territory hierarchy to complete most of your territory management tasks. So here's what we do to create our model record. So I want to create a model for current fiscal year. So I got to copy that, and I'm going to need it. And what I'm doing, so we're going to create a territory model record. So here's my territory models. And I'm going to create a record, a new territory model called current fiscal year. There's nothing else to do but hit save. Oh, territory model for the current fiscal year in the description. I don't think they're going to look for that, but in case they do, I'm going to put it in there. All right, so we created a territory model, really just a territory model record. So now we're going to create a territory, and from the setup, territory model. Then we're going to click, okay, we click View Hierarchy Suite. And then next to current fiscal year, we're going to click Create a Territory. All right, perfect. This is going to be Northern California. So we give it a label. It's got a name. And then the territory type, I'm sure it's going to be the only one we have. That's why they do it like this in Trailhead.
Named accounts.
Right, but I got to wait for it to show up on the daggum screen. Named accounts, priority 100. Awesome. Let's see. Enter accounts in Northern California. People still live there, by the way. Did you know that? It's crazy. No. And then we're going to leave. So account, view and edit accounts. We could decide, this is like role hierarchy, right? So we got to decide. what happens to the access to the account, contact, case, and opportunity over and above the OWD for records that the account owner does not own, or the territory account assignee does not own, probably in some form like that.
Right.
I'm going to leave all these blank for now because the only thing it said to do was view and edit. So we're going to leave it at view and
Right.
yeah, we leave that, and then we'll leave all the rest of them the highest level of restriction because that's what it said earlier. So we're going to do the same thing for a Southern California territory. And go back to our hierarchy, create another territory. Call this one Southern California. Yep. Territory types, named accounts. My guess, view and edit the account, and hit save. What does that mean? Territory type.
Probably have to look it up and select it. It's not gonna,
Probably,
I hate that stuff.
right?
Type named there.
In there, yeah. How's that different, Google? It probably added a space to it.
I know.
Probably added a space when it pulled it in. All right, so we're gonna create this. We already did it. Create a territory type and a territory model, then create a territory. So we're gonna create, all right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create another one called managed accounts, another type. So this is what we gotta do now, right? Go back and it's repetition, so we're gonna do it again. A new territory type for managed accounts. That actively managed accounts. The description. And we're going to use 100 again, right? Priority 100. I don't really understand what priority is yet, but I don't need to know yet. So we're going to use a calendar year for the model. All right, so our territory model, we'll use calendar year as opposed to fiscal year. And I took my description and already had pasted it. My Windows has a feature with Windows V. If you turn it on, it'll remember the last X number of what you call it. Now we're going to go view a hierarchy and create a territory. And I remember that only because I was literally watching my screen on the left where I'm watching the live in case anybody chats. And I saw the instructions right below it. I didn't have to worry about it. All right. So now we have US East Coast. So let's see, this will be this one. So they're only asking us to do one, which is good. And there we go. So we're now going back to our model. We're going to create a territory. US East Coast. Territory type now is not named accounts, but rather calendar year. Nope, I'm sorry, managed accounts, not named, but managed. And then my territory description. Managed accounts on US East Coast. I'm going to make the same view and edit the accounts available. Although it didn't say it, I'm going to do it because that only makes sense to give them view and edit access to those accounts that are signed. And hit save. And then I am going to check my challenge. Let me know when you got it done, Jenny.
I already did this one.
Oh, you did? All right, good. So I'm just
Yeah, I
checking
did
my
this
work.
last week. This is a good review though, because
I don't do territories.
I don't ever do territories.
All right,
do
can't find a
model.
territory model with the territory model name current calendar year. Territory model.
Sorry, I got a bad thunderstorm.
No worries.
Current calendar year. So
I didn't say current.
current calendar year. I think that's a typo. I think I had that same.
I think it's
wrong in the instructions. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
no, it
started
says
the
label
exact
current, it
same
says
thing.
label current calendar year. I just missed it.
Yeah, I think I did the exact same thing you did.
Because it's easy to miss when they don't put it in red, which they don't do
Mhm.
for advanced admins, it looks like. Thank goodness. So that looks good. Hooray. All right, so I'm going to close this because we're not done. We're going to go to the next step, which is assign accounts, rules, and user territories. Yeah, when did I complete this? I completed this long time ago. So yeah. So now in my learning objectives, so what did we learn from that, right? First, the territory type, then the territory, first the type, then the model, then the territory.
Right, and then the assignments. We need to read the top of it. Like, what is the territory type? What do they define that as? Because I kind of like sort of remember the steps, but they're not, like, I'm not sure what the point is of the
Right.
type.
Well, I'm not sure either. Like, I've got named accounts and managed accounts, right? So that's great. That's a territory type. I just gave it a name. And the model I'm going to use to define, I guess it's going to be used in the rule selection that we'll find out in a minute, is current calendar year or current fiscal year. And then when I look at the hierarchy, I've got an East Coast and I don't have a West Coast yet, but the other one's got Northern and Southern, right? California, so we're going to probably do something there. I got two of those, to which I could probably create multiple territories and sub-territories in each one, right? Northern California, and then I've got, this,
So you can,
whatever.
it looks like you can only have one active model.
Right.
And that's basically the naming convention. So that you can build multiple models and then just activate the one. So that makes a little bit more sense. Like, because it kind of confused me because they have two different models, but only one can be activated. Now that makes a little bit more sense. So that's like saying, we're going to switch to this model and I'll let you preview it. So yeah. It's kind of like a price book. You have an active and inactive price book or whatever, but it gives you the ability to switch over, but still build it.
Right.
Am I saying that right?
Hang on. Because now I'm thinking about something else. Okay, so assign. I want to make sure.
And the hierarchy is where you start to add the rules.
Yeah. So define.
Okay.
I want to make sure I got all the learning objectives and not weirded out on it. In my notes, so define, turn it on, da-da-da.
I don't understand what the priority's for, other than it highest to lowest priority, but I haven't really, I guess we haven't, like, sometimes you assign things and you don't understand.
Oh, completely. You don't understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, like I didn't understand I mean, I could see work priority. How is a territory a priority? I guess it's a sign.
Because it's got to go big to little, right? So you got to have,
Oh,
and I
you
don't
know
know what the
what?
100 means yet.
So if you get 100 leads, one territory will be presented before another territory in
No, I don't
the,
think that's what the 100
I
means.
don't know.
I don't know what it means either. So but I think we'll get to it, and it's
Okay.
probably going to be in the resources, right? Because of course they would do that, all those
Yeah, they make you
resources.
dig. I literally went through here and read all the resources one night, but that was a couple weeks ago. I can see clearly I think you're just gonna have to keep rereading these resources until it sticks.
Yeah, yeah. So now I'm in the next objective, which is assign account rules. Now we're going to assign the rules to the territories. So
Right.
I'm going to add the learning objectives here. This should actually something different, but I gotta go back, clean this doc up later.
God,
It's a
they
whole project. So learning objectives for this, and I'm just going to copy all this. So I don't miscount them, leave them all together. Learning objectives. And then I'm just plugging these in so I could see them. Because I'm going to give this document as a copy, right? Then I can put notes in between wherever I want. So here's what we need to do. Assign accounts to territories manually and by running assignment rules. Makes total sense. Explain how to view account assignments. Okay. How to assign rules to territories directly in territory records. So that the things we just created, that makes sense. I don't know how it works, and I don't know what it looks like, but we'll figure it out. How to assign users to territories and see who's assigned. Great. Activate a model and explain how to archive and delete one, and explain how to report on territories. Okay, good long ass assignment. Going to take us all the way through the end of this class for sure today. So assign an account to a territory with a rule. So let me go back to getting rid of this stupid. Right, I can see the screen a little better, and I can't get rid of that for some reason. Nope. Take Apollo out. Sorry, Apollo, you're bugging me. All right, so you can assign accounts to the territories they belong to manually or by applying rules. And a rule identifies one or more characteristics you use to define that territory, and tells the feature to assign accounts with those characteristics. So we're basically creating an assignment rule, calling it a territory with a rule. If your territory model is in the planning state, running rules let you preview account assignments. If your territory model is in active state, when you run rules, accounts are assigned. Well, that makes common sense. I don't need to note that one. But I do need, let's see, with that little bit of notage. Just a little bit of notes on that, like little bitty things I think will be good to remember about this, just because, they're there. They're part of our learning objectives. Rules can work together within territories and child territories. That's the note we want to keep in that one. Because, that sounds like a test question to me, because they give you an example to give you context, right? You create a territory called Western with child territories called Washington, Oregon, and California. From the Western territory record, you create a rule that assigns accounts in Washington, Oregon, and California to that territory. So you're assigning the accounts to the territory. you apply that rule to child territories, and then from the California territory record, you create a rule that assigns accounts in California to the California territory. Okay, so you start with a small, or in this case, for child territories, for any child territories for the California territory, you don't need to specify a state in the criteria if you mark the California territory rule as the inheritable to child territories. So they're saying is if you build a rule within a rule, the child can inherit the parents as a criteria versus not. For any child territories in California, you don't need to specify the state in the criteria if you mark the California territory rule as inheritable. Right. So if we create a rule based on a higher geography like this, then we can let the child inherit it.
Oh, so you have something that collects all the California, and then from there it circulates through the child.
So it's not really, yeah, so it's really segmenting chunks of records before it gets down to the low assignment.
Right.
And that's probably saving server time, right? If you had a million accounts around the world and you had 100,000 agents and assigning them every time going through that long list, you want to get them down to a smaller list of assignments.
So much more sense.
Yeah. You can use more specific criteria such as zip code or industry to create child territories for California. Yeah, so you say California, because they've got weird laws in California or each state, you might need to create different rules beyond that. If you just did zip code as your territory, then you can't address variables. So you've got to consider every context. Context is decisive. You got to consider every context in which you could create a territory to have a blanket assignment before you get to the more nitty-gritty individual assignments, depending on how it goes. All right, so we got that northern territory set up. We got to assign accounts to it. She follows 3 steps to create and run an assignment rule that speeds up the process for her. So we open the current fiscal year model by clicking view hierarchy and then open the Northern California territory, which is where we're at right now. I guess they mean we click on Northern territory. In the assignment rules assigned to this territory related list, click new. All right. So assignment rules assign this territory. We're going to click and make a new rule for this. We're going to give that rule a name. And it's going to be called Northern California zip code. So there's the name. And then we'll have, right? Now we get a criteria. Who knew the post office would have something like billing zip code greater or equal to 9,400? Who knew that mattered?
I don't even know where you would find that information, but I could have used it about 10 years ago.
Right?
I did a California assignment rule, and I remember having to divide it into a north and south, and that would have been helpful.
You know what? I actually had the experience last night of getting mad that I just learned how to do something faster. Like, I can't believe I had to do all that stuff the slow way. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All that time.
Right.
Now, here's where we say, do we apply it to the child territories below? Let's see what it says. We don't need to. We need to save. So now we're going to just click save. We make it active and hit save. Is that right? Did I mean to make it active? No, I did not mean to make it active.
No, I think when you make it active, it calculates the rules and applies them.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. It takes time. It cycles through all the records.
Right. So I want to edit my rule. And I don't want to make it active yet because that's not what the instruction said. But also, now we can click run rules. Where do we click it from? All right. we can run rules. All right, there you go. Include all accounts or a subset. Well, we're going to run it. See what happens when we run it. I didn't see a message that said the rule's running. Did you?
I think it came up too big. I think it's off your screen. Because it was asking for confirmation.
Yeah. Run
Here you go.
rules. But I got
Now
no other confirmation message.
Probably goes to your email, kind of like when you upload a change set.
Yeah, probably. All right, we'll leave it at that. Running rules just a test. This gives you a chance to make changes if needed before activating the model. All right, so let's, but hang on. How do we see
the changes? I have no idea.
Here it is. Running assignment rules are running for all accounts. We'll send you an email when the rules are finished. Let's see if that's finished. Because what I want to see is the view, right? I want to see, well, okay, because really running it as inactive really is a preview of what it's the accounts. You can kind of do a check, right?
Yeah. That's the thought. A check with rollback.
All right.
We need someone here online that actually has used territories and territory models in a practical way. I just haven't seen it.
No, I've never have either. So, all right, well, let's just keep moving, and we might be able to do it. So I'm gonna do a manually added one, right? I don't know if you saw that or not, right? But I'm gonna manually add a site. So I'm gonna add an account. And I'm going to pick an account that's available. Express Logistics, because they're Oregon. Awesome. I'm going to click assign it to the model. Oh, there it is. No, I want to see that. I want to see the list. Okay, that's fine. I'm just being neurotic. Welcome to my club. Okay, now I can view those. All right, now I could see that the Northern California account was manually, Express Logistics is manually applied. You guys can see that right there. And I hate that I don't have a better tool, but I ain't got one. Oh, wait, I do got one. As soon as I find my meeting controls. This one I love. Yeah, that one's there because then it disappears. I don't have to remember to get rid of it. Okay. Oh, what's the pain part? There we go. Now we're going to apply an assignment rule to a territory. So you can apply assignment rules to a territory directly from the territory record. It seems like a good little thing to remember. But let's look at our notes real quick. So how to view account assignments. We didn't, how do we view the account assignment? We go to, well, we're not really there yet. I think you can apply territory rules. Put that in there. Seems like a good little note. Maria spent some time setting up several more assignment rules, and she wants to add company size rule to the Northern California territory. If you're following along, you won't see the rules that she set up, of course, but in your own org, you create the rules you need. So we're going to create some more rules. On the Northern California territory page, in the assignment rules assigned to this territory related list, we're going to assign a rule. In the available related list, we're going to select company size. So let's go to that rule. So in the territory page, did I get in the wrong spot? On the Northern California territory page. Is this it? I'm in the assignment rules. Hang on a second. So I got on the Northern California territory page. So in our model, I got to go to nope. We're in the other model. I'm in the Northern territory. Yeah, I'm in Northern California territory model. Okay, so I got to make sure where I'm at, right? I'm in the territory, Northern California, in the hierarchy, current fiscal year, Northern California. Weird way to get to it. So now I'm going to go in the assignment rules assigned this territory related list, click assign rules. Okay, see, I missed a piece. Instruction, assign the rule. Whee. I'm going to assign it. Select company size. In the available related list, select company size. I don't have company size. Did we miss something?
I thought that was one of the company size. I thought that was one of the decisions.
All right.
Yeah.
We did that earlier.
That company size. So you want to, if you're following along, you won't see the rules, but on your own org, you can create the rules. They want you to create the rule called company size.
That's what I think they want us to do. So let's look at the current fiscal year. We've got two territory models.
So you want to go to the Northern California model. Because it says she wants the assignment rule under, I gotta go up. She wants to spend some time setting up several more assignment rules, and she wants to add the company size rule to the Northern California territory. So you want to go into that territory and add another rule called company size.
So we're going to create a new rule called company size.
Right.
See, I think that's good. That's implied, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the criteria?
Yeah, I'm looking for the criteria now. For you.
So hold on.
So much data. I don't know if it's because I don't have I haven't completed. So the instructions, are they in I think the bottom where the questions are?
So size only comes into play
After you get to Northern Territories.
Yeah, so like
I'm just trying to find what the criteria was because
Yes, we got to create it, and it's not, it may or may not be at the very end. Let's see if it's at the very end and say to do this.
That's what I was wondering, if it was in that challenge. They might have, size over.
It's actually not. I think this is just a test for us, right? So when we create the rule, company size, so let's just say, what would size be? Annual revenue
Employee number of employees or something.
or employee numbers, right? And I could do
Mm-hmm.
and then I could do employees greater than or equal to 200, let's say. And then I add a little filter logic because it's my filter, right?
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2. And then I could save that rule.
I mean, there is a total employee box on the account.
Not employees, it's different. It's fine.
Total employees. Because it says revenue by size in the report, and it's based upon total employees. It's not telling you what the.
Let me just look and see what it says. So you saying there's a different one besides employee, the
Yeah, if you
standard
look in
employee
the-
field?
Yeah, total employees.
No, where do you see that? Is there a screenshot somewhere?
Yeah.
I don't trust screenshots.
Yeah, I got it. Or it just says employees, sum of employees. So I think.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
employees.
right. Yeah, so employees is the field name. Yeah, employees is the field name.
Sorry.
That's right. No, it's fine. So we've got in our model, we've got Northern California zip code and company size are the two that apply, that we are applying to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's how she checks the rules that apply to current fiscal year territory model. Open the current fiscal year territory model, go view rules. So go to my territory model, fiscal year. What are we doing? Current fiscal year territory model, click view rules. There we go. So those are our two rules. Neither are active, but they are there. Brilliant. So to run reports, get use information, it's accounts assigned territories, users assigned territories, some of them. Oh, you can run. Reporting on summarizable account fields is especially helpful because it lets you gauge territory size by reporting on account data such as annual revenue or number of employees. First, you need a custom territory management report. Oh.
Territory management report type.
Right. So
That's not.
yeah.
I mean, you have to explain how to do it, but it's not on that.
Oh, there's not instruction on how to do that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, but that's right. Yeah, fine. So, yeah, so there's one account because we haven't run any rules yet actively, right? We just added one manual, so it's just one account, number of employees, number of revenue. Here's some suggestions of the report you find helpful in managing territories. Just because it's under there. Oh, that's horrible. There you go. Woo. Okay. So I think that's kind of useful when you go back to your notes. Like these are going to give you ideas what you can show. These 4 things will probably be useful to pay attention to. Which account belongs to which territories don't have assigned accounts, which users haven't been assigned to territories, and which users belong to which territories. All good.
Can you put that in our notes?
It is in the notes. That's what I just did.
Oh, did you? Okay. I was looking on my screen probably at the time. Sorry.
Oh, but yeah, I just did it. So it's got to refresh and save and blah, blah, blah.
That's fine.
Yeah. So it's not formatted pretty, but it's in one document that we can read all at once. So the resources for this, I think you should probably know how to create.
Yeah.
We'll put it in there as a resource for that one.
We're watchers.
What's that?
We're watchers, our YouTube.
Is 4 people watching?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry. All right. So here's our hands-on challenge. So we want to create and run an assignment rule, manually assign an account to a territory, then activate your territory model. So we want current calendar year, East Coast. Rule name is US East Coast zip code. So this one is going to be current calendar year, territory. Got to look at the hierarchy.
Yep.
East Coast territory.
Right. And then you're going to create a rule.
That's right. I'm going to get a new rule. And then the billing zip code is greater equals 3,000 or lower. So
Right.
less or equal to 3,000. Who knew that was a rule?
That's so cool.
Who
I
knew
wonder
the
where you
post
get
office
these
could think
rules. I wonder
ahead?
where you get these rules from, though. Like, where do
You
you
got to look, there's a guide in a document with a link to the how they do it.
really?
I mean, it's government. It had to be documented because that raises the bill.
Yeah, I just.
All right. So now I'm going to run the rule. There. Manually assign United Oil and Gas. Which one is it? United Oil and Gas UK. Now here's a fun one. Activate the model. So I'm going to click activate. Let's click on the model. Right. So look, it's going to activate all that stuff. And then I'm going to check it and see if it worked. Which it did once before.
You might need to give it a hot minute to.
No, I understand. But I'm going to look and see now. Now in my model, I wonder if it activated my rules.
Rules are not good.
But it activated the model. I'm curious if it's an active rule. Now, what does it do to the other underlying rules?
Right.
I don't know. All right, that worked. So forget about it. It's done. I'm not going to learn anything new. I got it now.
I'm glad one of us do. I need to keep reading it over and over. I think I need to read it weekly to commit it to memory. So there's a lot of
no, I
terms.
definitely. No, listen. That I pulled out what I pulled out because I thought they were good things to remember, and they're in the notes. But I would not say this is a robust explanation trail. I would say that you have to have been familiar with this to be able to back it out and to see, because I think intentionally and for all rights and purposes, yes, they should absolutely not give away the farm, if you will, with to advanced admins. This is an advanced admin trail. So it's expected, you know, this stuff.
We're
you
gonna
know?
have to read all those topics underneath that trailhead.
I mean, the support docs,
Yeah,
the resources.
it says, I don't know,
I
it doesn't say
listen,
resources, it just says topics, but then I guess it brings you, you're right, it's resources.
yeah, there's the resources and
Federal
listen.
territory manager, set up territory assignments. I wish there was something more on the gotchas, but I guess,
No, like for example, we activated a model,
but we
but
didn't
they
activate the
didn't talk
rule.
about how to archive and delete it. It's in these resource documents and how to report on it. And oh, by the way, when do we activate, right? When do we activate the rules? And what's the impact? I think you're gonna have to get your fingers on it. That's the bottom line. You're gonna
Yeah,
have to get your fingers on it. All right. So now into advanced territory management. Yay. This is one that I think might have been that got me like nobody's business. That might be the one I went through on my own. Like, I'm just gonna make sure I got this or something. Yeah, because that all the stuff we just did was no big deal. Right, really. But this stuff, advanced territory management, it might not be, oh, you know, it might be something else. I don't know. We'll see. I can't remember. I was looking at my setup audit trail. Anyway. So let's, these are going to be the two modules or the two trails for it. I got those and already added the learning objectives. So voila. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify several ways to improve performance while using enterprise territory management, how to reassign child territories effectively, how to define effective filter criteria for assignment rules, determine whether to trigger assignment rules upon account update. Okay, so that all makes good quality sense. Let's see how it turns out for the reals. All right, so it's been a few months since we set it up, and we're trying to keep track of who's working on. It's easy to keep track of who's working on what. It's a good thing, right? That's what territory management does. It gives you an easy way to keep track of who's working on what. Because it's assigning other than, this is assignment, remember, this is assigning for things other than the owner of record or the account team members. It's another way to assign an account record to a user that's not an owner or a team member. So we acquired a competitor, and to handle their territories, accounts, and reps, Maria's putting in extra hours. That's the truth about admins. She's especially concerned about system performance. Specifically, she's wondering about making so many changes to her active territory model and maintaining so many territories. It's time to take it up a notch and get some advanced skills to make sure this feature is working as efficiently as possible. In this unit, we do our best to answer Maria's questions about performance optimization. So if you haven't completed territory management basics, which we just did, I think that's right.
We did.
Yeah, we just did. Go watch that video first. So now we're in this one. So, and they're saying if you have 2 months experience using this feature, so you got to get that experience in your hand. You can't wait 2 months to take your test, but you can do enough reps and do some real life stuff on these exercises and start to create some experience in yourself. Maybe even redo it with another org, right? Don't sell out on the clicks that you need to go through. You will sacrifice having to take another test, okay? So we want to avoid excessive rule evaluation. So first on the list is to add their parent territories to the territory hierarchy in our active territory model. Second is to assign counts to them. So let's just get a basic on how many records are in each one. So we can chop the elephant up so we can eat it in little bites. Remember they say the way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time? Well, you got to know how to butcher it into those little bytes. So applying inherited rules to child territories means you don't have to run that territory for everything. You're working off of subsets. Let's see if we're right, by the way, Jen, because this is what we said. So we recommend applying that inherited rules to child territories. When you add a parent territory, it's best to apply inherited account assignment rules to child territories. Defining each territory hierarchy branch as its own tree makes the siblings at the same level mutually exclusive. That is, it's creating smaller data sets. So you prevent the rules engine from evaluating more records because of the branch hierarchy than what is necessary, which makes it run faster, right? So that's where you want to apply the bigger, so you got to think in layers. You got to think in concentric circles moving in. So is that the way to think of it? Like a nested dolls, right? So you're evaluating the less ones. So you want to, so that's one way. So recommend applying the inherited rule to child territories. So that's one way to improve performance, right? Is there anything else we need? Another little note in here. All right, so that's just good intel. Next is define an effective filter criteria in assignment rules. Let's see what that falls under.
Yeah, in other words, don't put contains or, you know, try to have literal, try to start with numbers and definitives.
Yes.
Or much
yes.
faster.
That's a good way to put it.
Don't do a starts with.
Right.
Or no.
All right. So yeah, recommend that this is good. I'm learning to see where they put things. Right. So we got this. So we recommend defining criteria on numeric fields, not string fields, and avoid defining numeric criteria as text. Perfect. That's good notes for us. Operators on string fields aren't case sensitive, which can affect performance. So instead of defining criteria on string fields, consider on numeric fields, which we just said. Also, numeric fields defines as text, slow down performance. Enter 1,000, not 1,000. Yeah, because it's got to interpret that stuff. All right, so we're setting up a filter. When you define assignment rules, make them as restrictive as possible. So, brilliant.
Right. Don't put a lot of filter logic.
Or do like, I don't know if they're saying that. Let me see.
Well,
So then you're saying,
you know, the logic like or and 1 and 2 or.
Well, I don't think that's the problem. I think what they're trying to say is get your most, you want to get, so if you got a number of 587 accounts, right? And you're trying to assign it to 10 different reps. Use the first entry to be the most specific as you can. I guess that's what it means. I don't know. Avoid. All right, I see what you're saying. Avoid including lots of or conditions. Okay, so you want to be very specific in your criteria, so it assigns those rules based on that criteria and that criteria alone, as opposed to gathering
go through the entire
each or
formula.
Yeah,
you want to rule it out as soon as possible.
Yep. Here's a good probably thing that's going to be a good note. If it was possible.
I really like your notes.
Well, you can add to them, make them better if you want. I'm just trying to follow, I'm trying to develop my own little study methodology for Trailhead, because I get lost on the trails too. You know, I get worked up, I get angry, all of that.
When you
And
misspell an API and filter a name.
What's that?
When you're trying to reference something and you forget that underscore C, or
Yeah, exactly.
3 hours later.
Yeah, and then you're lost in the mire of things to do.
Right.
Let's see the next one. Avoid running assignment rules when not needed. So there's this evaluate this account against territory rules on save option. So avoid running assignment rule. Let's see where that
Oh,
fits in.
yeah, that would make it tight. That could potentially make your API timed out. You don't want to do that.
Right.
If you don't need to.
So avoid the.
Don't make that default on.
Yeah, don't make that the default. That's like asking it to do more work every time. Whoops, I missed one earlier. Yeah, avoid that option. You could set up Salesforce to run account assignment rules when an account is updated. To set it up, you can set it up to do that, but we don't recommend it. So set it up on the account edit page, select evaluate this account against territory rules on save, set up using API, set the appropriate header parameter, an update call. They don't give you a lot of details because they don't want you to do it. But what they're saying is on an account page layout, I imagine.
You can hypothetically do it when you edit.
Well, no. Like, you know how you can select run assignment rules. I'll bet it's in the layout properties. You see that on the layout properties?
Oh, look at that. No.
It's show that or don't show it.
Oh,
And then you can
wow.
also make
No,
it a
I didn't
default or
see
not.
that. That's
Yeah,
great.
It's the same for leads and cases. Because
Yeah.
now this territory management is the account assignment rule you've all been waiting for. Hello, there's only ever been 2 assignment rules. Now we're saying don't do it every time, just when it's created, not every time, right? So like you would just be mentally aware that you have to do that or run some flow that does it. So that's where it is. So it's whether you put it on the page layout or not, that's where it lives. I'm glad you're excited by that because
I am. I forgot it was there.
Yeah.
You know, once you set it, you forget it. And
yep.
Yeah, I
So
forgot it was there.
You either decide to show that checkbox field, or you decide to not only show it, but pre-check it. It's just not good. But some accounts, you might need to do it on. Just don't make it ubiquitous. They're saying use it with caution. Use it when you need to use it. Don't use it all the time. Don't be a lazy admin. And just ask your other admins to do stuff and then don't help them. Assignment rules, attributes, and custom fields. You can add the account page layout. Then use custom fields in your rule definition while you continue using original. Before setting up display controls, account attributes and assignment rules remain stable. Tip. I'm gonna put that tip in the notes because that sounds like a useful tip. All right. Couple resources and a quiz. Thank goodness. Just a quiz.
Oh, thank God for quizzes, right?
Unbelievable.
Got to take the low-hanging fruit.
Right?
Oh,
All
God,
right, let's see.
we love you.
All right, which of the following, whoops, which of the following is a best practice for optimizing performance when using ETM? So here's the thing I'm going to say about this, because I'm recording this live. I want you to pick the answer. Don't watch and wait for me. It's ridiculous to study and memorize the answer. So what we're going to do in the last few minutes, because I got more than this the time limit on the, you can stay and go as you want. I want to show you how to evaluate each of these, and then you tell me which one it should be. Right? So make filter criteria and assignment rules as non-restrictive as possible. Now, we already heard about that one. And in the rules themselves, right? In our territory models, and we go to our rules, we learned earlier that the criteria that we use, right? This criteria should avoid ors, should be very clear, should be, it said 1 or 2, but maybe it needs to be 1. And that in this case, 2 fields, maybe it's pretty simple, but you know, so that's the rule piece. So what was the question? What's the best practice for optimizing performance when using ETM? So non-restrictive was against the trailhead trail, right? So you might want to do a search called, let's see what non-restrictive. That only shows up one time on the page, and I'm looking at it in an answer. So let's see if we take the non out. Oh, look, restrictive. Keep assignment rules restrictive. When you define rules, make them as restrictive as possible. Aha. So we know A is out, right? Because you went and you did some work and you had to create some brain cramps before you can get your brain candy to remember. That's where your finger, the finger creates the, go look, a couple ways to do it in the system and in the trail if you have to. Make filter criteria and assignment rule as restrictive as possible.
But we just read.
We just read it, right?
Yeah.
Always select evaluate this account territory rules on save. Always is a big word you want to avoid. You want to bing, bing, bing. What do you mean by always? Hey, test. What do you mean by always? You mean always means 100% of the time. I know you think, oh, not all 100%, maybe 80. No, always 100. Can you imagine using a feature 100% of the time? What impact would that have in the world? The only feature that's 100% active all the time in Salesforce is whether or not you can log into an org or not. Right? That's it. Like all that, right? So that's out. Spell out numbers such as 100 in numeric filter criteria for assignment rules. Now think about that for a second. You're spelling out a number. Does that sound efficient? What's easier, typing 1000 or writing ONE space THO?
Sure puts a lot of trust in your users as well.
Yeah. Bada boom, bada bing. So start at the top of your territory when you're reassigning territories to other parents. Now that's a reassignment strategy. That didn't say optimizing performance when using enterprise. That's a strategy depending on your situation. Would you agree with that? Like, I don't start at the top of your territory hierarchy when you're reassigning territories to other parents.
Yeah, that is kind of a strategy, and that could
And
be.
it's kind of sounds a little funny. Start at the top. Listen, what do you mean, Dominic? All right, well, let's go look at our models. So we look at our model and we say, view hierarchy. Okay, let me view the hierarchy. Start at the top, right? Start at the top of your territory hierarchy when you're reassigning territories to other parents. Reassigning territories to other parents. Where do you see that craziness? Do you see that craziness anywhere? Where's the other parent button? Word, right? When I'm assigning to other parents, and if you don't know what that means, create another parent. There is no other parent.
There is no other parent. You're right.
Right. So let's say you create a territory called wine country. And the territory type is same territory type we did before. I don't remember which one it was, but this time you're picking out vineyards alone because you did that vertical, blah, blah, blah. Let's just call it named accounts. Territory descriptions is testing a question. I'm going to set the setting, override access with less restrictive access. So there's my other territory. So now I'm looking at my hierarchy. I'm gonna go back to my pretty way of looking at it, right? So what does it mean to start at the top of your territory when you're reassigning territories to other parents? Start at the top to reassign other parents. So what am I gonna do with this one? How am I gonna reassign this to another parent? Start at the top. See, it doesn't make sense when you apply it. I'm trying to figure out what you mean. I'm struggling. It tells you there's some wackiness going on. It's probably not the thing. But what's really clear? Make an assignment rule as restrictive as possible. Really, really clear.
Yeah.
So when you go work it out, if this doesn't make sense to you, spell it out for filter criteria. What makes more sense then? It's going to start to make less sense just trying each one out. That's why I want you to try each one of these. Don't just memorize a daggum answer, because you're not doing yourself any favors. You're actually damaging your brain's ability to trust itself and what it learns. Right. To avoid performance issues, which of the following are best practices for defining filter criteria in assignment rules? Hello, here's another test taken lesson. Sometimes another question helps you explain a question you had a question about. So when you have a question you have a question about, do your best to eliminate any weirdness. Then if you're left with 1 or 2 or 3 answers to choose from, mark that question for review. Then write down on your piece of paper or your digital notes, if you're taking it digitally, the question number and the narrowing down the choices. Give yourself some notes so that later on in the test, this could be question number 1. This could be question number 65. Later on in your test, you'll see something that looks familiar. When you go back to review the questions marked for review, this might have triggered some learning. So using a numeric field. Yeah. Define numeric fields with text. Sounds like a less than best practice. If I'm using numeric fields, why would I define numeric fields with text? And then avoid overuse of or conditions. Yeah. So anything with B and C sounds bad. So I'm going to go with A. But again, go test it. Does it all make sense? We kind of did these before. So I'm going to go with those. And I hope I got 100 points. What? Oh, C. It was A and C.
Keep going. Oh my God.
Did you yell at me?
I couldn't unmute fast enough.
Oh, right. See, it was me. Like you, I just did a brain fart. But that's how you learn how to slow down.
Yeah.
You lose 50 points and you go, damn it.
Lost. Oh, I was like trying to unmute.
Hilarious. You did it. I did it to myself. I do it to myself. It's my own.
I do it all the
ADV,
time.
My addiction to speed. That'll get you on the test too, by the way. There, I demonstrated it.
Yes.
All right. So look, now in our get tips and tricks section. So that was, we don't need the quiz piece. That was that module, right? In the resources. Whoops.
I got to drop soon, Dom.
Yeah, no worries.
I haven't had a break in a lot of hours.
Yeah, no, I know the feeling. I've been at it since this morning. So we're gonna, I think this is a pretty quick one though. Explain the role hierarchy and territory hierarchy work together. Explain how to show roll up forecast. Okay. So we learned about that stuff. Avoid duplicating hierarchies. Get some more changes to make. And I'm just going to finish this one out. If you have to go, Jenny, that's fine. I'm going to finish working this out, talking to just my screen and anybody who's there. But we'll go from there, right? So should she base the territories hierarchy on the user's role hierarchy? And the answer to that is unequivocally no. That's a good note, right? Should I base? So the first thing is, it's a good question. Should I base on the user's role hierarchy? Answer, no. Why? Because that has to do with record access based on ownership of the record. That's all that the role hierarchy has to do. So territories are typically way more complex than that, right? Sometimes the role hierarchy even gets in the way of record. We're trying to do record sharing for a different purpose. The role hierarchy is for record sharing to anybody superior to you in the role hierarchy. That's it. That's all the role hierarchy does. And it defines what happens to the account, contact, opportunity, or case if that account ownership rolls up for those subordinate records that aren't told. So the access level to accounts, opportunities, contacts, and cases that ETM provides rolls up to the role hierarchy. So what it's saying is the role hierarchy works like this. However, a subordinate's record is shared with them is how it's shared with the hierarchy above. So let that be. And then your territory management controls the account records that are getting assigned to subordinates, and the role hierarchy takes care of the rest. So better to use the role hierarchy to represent management relationships, reporting roll-ups, approvals, and other hierarchical workflows. That's another good note. That would remind me of things that I need to do. A couple little notesies in here that I think are going to be useful in the notes doc. If you ask for this document, you can get it. But please subscribe to the Daggum channel. And if you're in it this long, right? Simplify the sales branch of your role hierarchy to contain only roles for these purposes. Then use the territory hierarchy to extend access to records based on the territory arrangements. Perfect. So that's another good note. And other things to do when you're creating your interactive strategy. Yeah. All right, duplicate that twice. I don't need it twice. Why is it in it twice? Then use territory, right? Good notes. All right, so you've got your territory and you've got your role hierarchy, right? So I got America based on Canada, East Canada, Quebec, West Canada, Latin America, right? So you don't need, they don't really show this well in this screenshot. I think they were just, somebody said, give me a shot of the role hierarchy on the left, right, territory on the left. So under sales, you might not, you don't need to see, if there's a regional director under VP of sales, if you have Canada director of sales, and then you got East Canada manager, Quebec manager, West Canada manager, do that, right? Create those roles in the role hierarchy instead of trying to fix it the other way around. But only as it relates to the management relationships, reporting roll-ups, approvals, and other hierarchical workflows. Like there's that who needs access to those records that might not be part of the territory assignment rules, right? So create that structure first, then you can create your assignment rules. And I'm not that solid on it, right? So in the role and territory hierarchies are used appropriately, they complement each other and offer dual models for reporting, analysis, and segmentation of corporate info. So that's a good, like, I'm just going to copy that whole note because, man, this stuff I just need, right? I'm going to put that up here. And right, there we go. Let's see if that works. Oh, I know why I was doing that. What it's supposed to be doing. I'm an untechnical technical writer. All right. Got that piece? Now it's in the notes. Show rolled up forecast for territories. When you use collaborative forecast and as recently enabled territory forecast, right? So look, sales teams use collaborative forecast and forecast. And this is a good little note for that rolled up forecast thing. All right. So sales teams that use collaborative forecasts and enabled, I don't care about the and recently part. So this is the question and the answer. Boom. All right, now we're going to come up probably something else next. Now, assign a forecast manager for every territory you want. Well, that's a good instruction. Right? So you got to use collaborative, you got to have collaborative forecast and enabled territory forecast, as well as a forecast manager assigned. If there's anything else. So let's see. So that's where you assign a person to that role in the territory. So you assign it. Even if there's nobody, another note for this one. You assign a forecast manager, even if there isn't an actual person managing it. That's a good little tip. For each territory without child territories, decide whether you want to assign a forecast manager. All right. When a forecast manager is assigned, the forecast for the territory available for the forecast manager to view and adjust. When they're not assigned, this is good to know too. And it's good to know for me because I'm going to have to read it. Just like you will. So we got assigned. Here's what happens, and not assigned. So this is forecast for the territory. All right. So Greg Norman is at North Beach. All right. Sync with a single source of truth. Maria used an external single source of truth for Ursa territories before she set up enterprise territory manager. Still finds that data useful. Can she sync? Recommend creating a custom external ID. Let's see what. Yep, there we go. Look at that. All right. So I need to read it out loud. Got it. So you give it an external ID, and that means you can synchronize back and forth. If you integrate your territory hierarchy with an external single source of truth, you can base your territory hierarchy on that source and use it to manage your territories. Keep in mind, this process is not automatic. Which means you have to, your single source of truth, you have to do exports and then updates inside of Salesforce. Huh. This is a good note. A really good note. Yep, leaving it like that. All right. So you can't clone territory models. That's all. You just can't clone them. I don't know why, because that's the rule. All right. Do more with an assignment rule filter criteria. Let's see what that is. Do more with assignment rule filter criteria. So maybe that's going to be cleaning up data piece. I don't know. Nope. And I'm going to add this. Filter criteria, throwing it in there. And so the 10 filter setting up government stabilization, how should you get around it? All right. So when the number of criteria entries don't meet your business requirements, use formula fields to combine multiple data fields for an account. Yep, that's a good idea. What can you do? All right, use formula fields. That'll do it. Let's see. All right, hang on. I'm not putting the examples in there. Bam. Yeah. All right, now I got it. When criteria are based on accounts related records, it's another way to do it. Bam. Why? They just know what works, man. What's going to get the wheel spinning? Tips and tricks. All right, clean up your data first. Like duplicate records. While she's making changes to territory model, she's an idea. Use territory assignment rules to clean up the data. Great call, right? That's a good note. This is good intel. So they're not going to recommend. Take care data clean up separately. That's a good tip. We recommend built-in duplicate management. That makes sense. Lightning data to keep your records current and define new accounts similar to your best customers. Okay. That's matching rules. They got links to provide help, learn more about duplicate management features, right? Define named accounts effectively. So define named accounts effectively. Where does that fall in our learning objectives? There it is. So name them, define them effectively. A named account is typically named after a company such as Solar Emporium rather than the sales territory it's in, such as San Francisco. All right. So that's kind of a definition of what it is. So now the tips. Got a few strategies. All right. Read those tips. All right. What can I do to simplify frequent territory realignment, which happens a lot, by the way? I'm gonna put all that there. So what was this under? Save time and APIs. We recommend using APIs. Avoid unnecessary sharing, recalculation. So these are all under, remember they said performance issues? I think these could be considered performance issues that under tips and tricks. So I'm just gonna put some recommendations in the notes section here. Use APIs. ETM doesn't automatically assign or change account owners. Interesting. Good tip. and you could use Apex. Got to know that because you will get busted on a tip or trick. All right. She's wondering if it's a good idea to adopt account teams. Don't use account teams. Another good tip. It's because it creates confusion. Unless you know how to use it really well. It's a sales pitch for ETM. But it makes sense. All right. So I'm going to add the resources. I'm going to close the quiz, and I think we'll be done with this bad boy for today. Did I get lost somewhere in here? I did. All right. Probably some things to learn about in there. Let's take the quiz. Salesforce recommends basing your territory hierarchy on your user role hierarchy. We already looked at this. Go check it out. That's not recommended. That's a false. But you got to go check it out. And just go. Yeah, we did that earlier in the video, right? Show roll-up forecasts for your Florida sales territory. Which of the following is required? So a couple things about this test. Run forecast manager assignment rules. Run forecast manager assignment rules. I would categorize C and D together. Again, it's an example of how to pass the test. To show assign the forecast manager to Florida territory, comma, those A and B are alike. So if you find out one of those is untrue, then you know. Well, we know we need to assign a forecast manager to get rolled up forecasts. But only if, here's the other things, but only if your Florida sales territory has an actual manager, or even if your Florida sales territory doesn't have an actual manager. So doesn't have an actual manager, still in there. So, but only if it does, or even if it doesn't, right? And we remember that it's one of the things in the trailhead says, assign it even if you don't have a manager. It said, assign a forecast manager to every territory you want rolled up forecast amount. That's what it says to do. It is clear as a bell. And it's in the notes. So, you know, pay attention to notes. Don't be so disruptive. And I'm going to do that to earn 100 points. Woohoo, I got a new badge. Let's Twitter about it. I haven't created a brand account, so it's just me, Dominic X, tweeting all about. Oh yeah, is that even going to work? Wow, I need a shorter URL. So I'm going to go to bit.ly. Take that out. See if I can get a bit.ly. I don't know if I have a login in. Pretty sure I do. I already have a Bitly account in my personal, but I want one now for this, my companies. $1 million. Huh. I don't know that. I don't need any UTMs to this. I'm not that crazy. I'm just trying to make my tweet better. And that was way too hard. Tweetly should do it for me. All right, that was a pain. My tweet was sent. Now I did my part in social media today. I'm very excited. So again, thank you for your time, your effort, and everything you've done to get that badge. And we're going to work on what's next. Next week, we're going to pick up where we left off tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow, August 4th. We will do. We're doing this. I'm going to rename my video to that. And yep. Paths and workspaces. We'll go through this pretty quick. This will be August 4th. And this is, oh boy, I did not do a good job formatting this. I might get a chance to format it or not, I'm not sure. Where are we in? Auditing and monitoring. That's the wrong heading. That is my heading too. That's what I want. I don't want that to be that heading. I want that to be normal text. So that's part of cloud applications. So there we go. And then that is normal text. And that is normal text. So you didn't want to see all this, did you? No, not at all. But we are in cloud applications. That's where we're at right now. So that's what we're working on, is cloud applications. So I'm putting it in there because we're still in the cloud application. Territory management, we're not there. We're in cloud applications, and we'll pick up from there. And this is not heading to. All right, everybody, thanks for being here. And